Welcome to month 5 of the Data Engineer track. Today we shift into hands-on Python engineering, specifically PySpark and building production-grade data pipelines. If you've been writing SQL transformations or using drag-and-drop ETL tools, this session is about leveling up. PySpark gives you the full power of distributed computing with the expressiveness of Python. By the end of today, you'll have a working pipeline that reads raw data, applies SCD type 2 logic, writes to Delta Lake, and includes automated tests. Here's the shape of today. 4 hours split into 2 halves. The first hour is lecture covering Spark architecture, the DataFrame API, and core processing patterns. Then you spend 2 hours on a hands-on challenge building real PySpark pipelines. The final hour is for demos, code review, and retrospective. The challenge is the heart of this session. You'll set up a Spark environment with Minio as your object store, build a transformation pipeline with SCD type 2 tracking, write tests with PyTest, and then optimize your Spark jobs. 4 deliverables, each with a clear rubric. 5 objectives for today. First, Spark architecture. You need to understand the driver executor model, how partitions work, and why lazy evaluation matters. Without this mental model, optimization is just guessing. Second, the DataFrame API and Spark SQL. These are your 2 primary interfaces. You'll learn when to use each and why Spark treats them identically under the hood. Third, data processing patterns with transform write, deduplication, schema evolution, and error handling. These are the building blocks of every production pipeline. Fourth, testing. You use PyTest to write unit tests and data quality assertions for PySpark code. Testing Spark pipelines is different from testing regular Python, and the Spark session fixture pattern is key. Fifth, optimization and Delta Lake. You'll learn partitioning, caching, broadcast joins, and how Delta Lake features like merge and time travel make your pipelines more robust. Let's build the mental model. Every Spark application has a driver and 1 or more executors. The driver is your main program. It creates the Spark session, defines transformations, and coordinates execution. The cluster manager, whether that's Yarn, Kubernetes, or Spark standalone, allocates resources. Executors are the workers that actually process data. The key insight is lazy evaluation. When you write a chain of transformations like filter, group by, and ag, Spark doesn't execute anything immediately. It builds a directed acyclic graph of transformations. Only when you call an action like write, count, or collect does Spark optimize the DAG through the Catalyst optimizer and execute it. This matters because Spark can optimize the entire chain. It pushes filters down to the data source, eliminates unnecessary columns, and rearranges operations for efficiency. If you break the chain by calling collect in the middle, you lose all of that. Partitions are how Spark parallelizes work. Your data is split across partitions, and each partition is processed by 1 task on 1 executor. More partitions means more parallelism, but also more scheduling overhead. Finding the right balance is part of optimization. In Azure, both Databricks and Synapse Spark pools manage the cluster lifecycle automatically. You configure the pool size and Spark version, and the infrastructure handles executor provisioning. PySpark gives you 2 equally powerful ways to work with data, the DataFrame API and Spark SQL. The DataFrame API is a fluent, trainable interface. You read data, apply transformations like filter with column, group by, and ag, and then write the result. Each transformation returns a new data frame. Spark never modifies data in place. This immutability is what makes lazy evaluation possible. Spark SQL provides the same capabilities through standard SQL syntax. You register a data frame as a temporary view, then query it with SQL. For teams with strong SQL skills, this is often the faster path to productivity. The important part is that both approaches produce the exact same execution plan. Spark's Catalyst optimizer doesn't care whether you wrote DataFrame API calls or SQL. It converts both to the same logical plan and optimizes from there. When should you prefer the DataFrame API? When you're building dynamic pipelines, chaining complex transformations, or when type safety matters. When should you prefer SQL? When the logic involves complex joins, window functions, or when your team reads SQL more fluently than Python. In Azure Databricks notebooks, you'll often see a mix. SQL cells for exploratory analysis, DataFrame API in production Python modules. That's perfectly fine. Now let's talk about the 4 patterns you'll use in almost every production pipeline. Pattern 1. Read, transform, write. This is the ETL backbone. Read from your source, whether that's Azure Data Lake Storage, a database, or an API landing zone. Apply transformations and write to your target. The key principle is to keep transforms pure and idempotent. If you run the pipeline twice with the same input, you should get the same output. Pattern 2. Deduplication. Real-world data has duplicates. Event streams send the same event twice. CDC feeds include multiple updates for the same record. The window function pattern, partitioned by key, order by timestamp. Take row number 1 is your standard approach. It's efficient because Spark can parallelize the window across partitions. Pattern 3. Schema evolution. Upstream schemas change. New columns appear, types change, columns disappear. If your pipeline breaks on every schema change, you'll spend more time firefighting than building. Delta Lake's merge schema option and alter tabular columns make this manageable. In Azure Databricks, you can enable auto merge at the table level. Pattern 4. Error handling with deadlet use. Not every row will be valid. Rather than failing the entire pipeline on a bad record, separate good rows from bad. Route the bad rows to a dead letter path for investigation. This is critical in production. You process what you can and track what you couldn't. Delta Lake is what turns a data lake into something reliable. It adds AC10 transactions, schema enforcement, time travel, and efficient upserts to your Parquet-based storage. The merge operation is the cornerstone of incremental pipelines. Instead of rewriting init tables, you match source rows against target rows and define what happens on match, not match, or match with no change. The example on screen shows a simple upset. Update all columns when matched, insert when not matched. For SCD type 2, the merge gets more nuanced. When a matched row has changed, detected by comparing a hash of non-key columns, you close the existing record by setting is current to false and end date to today. Then you insert the new version with is current true and start date today. This gives you full history tracking. Time travel lets you query any previous version of a table. Something look wrong in today's data? Read the table as of yesterday's version and compare. In Azure Databricks, time travel is available out of the box. In Synapse Spark, you configure the Delta connector and get the same capabilities. The order indexing collocates related data within files. If you frequently query by region or date, their ordering on those columns can dramatically reduce the amount of data Spark needs to scan. Testing data pipelines is one of the most overlooked practices in data engineering. Here is how to do it properly with PyTest. The foundation is the Spark session fixture. You create a local Spark session scoped to the test session. It starts once, runs all your tests, and shuts down at the end. Using local mode with 2 cores gives you enough parallelism to catch concurrency issues without the overhead of a cluster. For unit tests, you create small data frames from Python lists, pass them through your transformation functions, and assert on the output. Test one function at a time. If your dedup function is separate from your SCD2 merge, test each independently. The quality assertions checklist is equally important. Row count validation catches silent data loss. Schema checks catch unexpected column changes. Uniqueness constraints verify your dedup actually worked. Value range checks catch data corruption, and referential integrity checks catch broken joins. You don't need a cluster to run tests. Local mode is fast and deterministic. In Azure DevOps, you can set up a pipeline agent with PySpark installed and run PyTest as part of your CI/CD workflow. Now the challenge. You have approximately 2 hours to build a production-grade PySpark pipeline. The scenario: you're building a retail analytics platform. Raw transaction data lands in Minio, which simulates Azure Blob Storage or S3. Your job is to build a pipeline that cleans, transforms, and loads data into Delta Lake with SCD Type 2 change tracking. 4 parts. Part 1 is environment setup, getting Spark and Minio running via Docker Compose, and verifying connectivity. Budget about 25 minutes. Part 2 is the transformation pipeline. This is the core work, including deduplication, SCD Type 2 merge, and error handling. Budget about 45 minutes. Part 3 is testing, writing pytest tests for your pipeline functions. Budget about 25 minutes. Part 4 is optimization, profiling your Spark job and applying techniques from the lecture. Budget about 25 minutes. Work individually. In Hour 4, you'll demo your pipeline and participate in a group code review. Let's look at the details of parts 1 and 2. For part 1, your Docker Compose file needs 4 services. Spark Master, that is one Spark worker, Minio for object storage, and Delta Lake support via the Delta Spark package. The Spark defaults configuration shown here sets up the S3A connector to talk to Minio with the endpoint, credentials, and path style access. 3 tasks: spin up the containers, verify you can read and write a test file through PySpark to Minio, and set up your project structure with source, tests, and config directories. For part 2, you're building the actual pipeline. Task 4 is clean and deduplicate. Handle nulls, cast types, and remove duplicates using the window function pattern covered earlier. Task 5 is the SCD Type 2 merge. The pattern is merge on the business key where its current is true. When matched and the hash has changed, close the old record. When not matched, insert a new current record. The hint about hashing is important. Use SHA-2 with concat was to create a hash of all non-key columns. This gives you a single column to compare instead of checking every field individually. Parts 3 and 4 are what make your pipeline production grade. For part 3, testing, you'll write 2 types of tests. Unit tests isolate individual functions, your dedup function, your cleaning function, your SCD2 merge. Use the Spark session fixture with local mode and Delta extensions configured. The example shows testing that SCD2 creates proper history. Insert version 1, updated. Assert you now have 2 rows with 1 current. Integration tests run the full pipeline end to end, from raw data in Minio through to Delta Lake output. These are slower but catch interface issues between components. For part 4, optimization, start with the Spark UI. Run your pipeline and look at the stages. Identify shuffle-heavy stages, data skew, and spill to disk. Then apply the techniques. Partition by your join key, cache intermediate data frames that are reused, use broadcast joins for small dimension tables, and enable adaptive query execution. Setting Spark, SQL adaptive. Enable to true, lets Spark dynamically adjust partition counts and handle skew at runtime. It's one configuration change that often delivers significant improvement. Here is a reference card for the 6 most impactful optimization techniques. Partitioning, match your partition count to your data size. The default 200 shuffle partitions is rarely optimal. Repartition by your most common join or group key. Broadcast joins. When one side of a join is small, under 10 megabytes, broadcast it to all executors. This eliminates the shuffle entirely. In Azure Databricks, the default auto-broadcast threshold handles this automatically. Caching. If you use a data frame in multiple actions, cache it after the first materialization. Use memory and disk for large data frames. Always unpersist when you're done. Adaptive query execution. AQE is the single most impactful config change for most workloads. It dynamically coalesces partitions, handles skew joins, and optimizes join strategies at runtime. Predicate pushdown. Filter as early as possible. Spark automatically pushes filter predicates to the data source, but structuring queries with early filters helps. Delta optimize with Zorda. Compact small files and collocate data by frequently queried columns. Run optimize periodically and follow with vacuum to clean up old file versions. In Azure Databricks, Photon gives you vectorized native execution that can be up to 3 times faster on aggregation-heavy workloads. In Synapse Spark, hyperspace indexes provide similar benefits for lookup-heavy queries, while in Synapse Spark, hyperspace indexes for deliverables to submit. First, a working environment. Docker Compose running with Spark connecting to Minio. This is worth 15%. Second, the transformation pipeline at 35%. Your pipeline should include deduplication, SCD type 2, merge with Delta Lake, error handling with dead letter routing, and clean, readable code. Third, a test suite worth 25%. Unit tests for transformation functions, an integration test for the full pipeline, and data quality assertions. All tests should pass. Fourth, an optimization report worth 25%. Show before and after screenshots from the Spark UI. Document what you changed and why. Apply at least 2 of the 6 techniques covered in the lecture. Expert level means all 4 deliverables complete with clean code, comprehensive tests, and measurable performance improvement. Proficient means a working pipeline with passing tests and some optimization. Push your code to a GitHub repository for evaluation. That wraps up the lecture and challenge overview. Now it's time to build. For the next 2 hours, work through the challenge. Don't hesitate to ask questions, especially on the SCD type 2 merge logic and the testing patterns. These are the 2 areas where most people need a second explanation. In hour 4, we'll reconvene for pipeline demos and code review. I want to see your Spark UI screenshots and hear about what surprised you during optimization. Looking ahead, month 6 covers data pipeline orchestration, Airflow DAGs, scheduling, monitoring, and CI/CD for pipelines. The pipeline you build today will become the foundation for what you orchestrate next month. Good luck with the challenge.